Good morning, welcome back to a new video. If you're new here, my name's Chris and together with my girlfriend Charlene and our little dog Holly, we've been travelling the world for the last 5 years in our motorhome. Recently we crossed the border from Germany into the Czech Republic and we're absolutely impressed with this country so far. So we're currently only about 10 minutes away from the town of Cesky Krumlov, which is in that direction, and we've parked up in this little campsite here. The cost is 25 euros per night. At the moment we're still in March, so in winter season the services are off, so as far as I'm aware there's no electric or water or stuff like that. I do see some toilets, I don't know if they're open yet, but basically the main thing that we wanted is a parking area where we can leave the van somewhere safe while we go and explore the town. Nothing too special, but it does the job. And this is the toilet block here. Yeah, as well, this is closed, but they will be opening next month, I think. And this is quite common actually. A lot of the campsites are closed in the winter here in the Czech Republic, and they open up around April and May. And some even have their water and everything switched off throughout the winter season as well. So just to keep that in mind if you are coming here with your motorhome or van in the winter season. Just walking beside the river. That is one thing that makes this place really special, that the river, or the town, is actually wrapped around the river. Or the river is wrapped around the town, I should say.
And we can see this beautiful building just in front of us. It already feels special.
We just need to follow the river, and I guess that will lead us to the centre of Cesky Krumlov. Oh, you can tell you're entering somewhere really special with an entrance like this.
The architecture here is a mix of medieval and Renaissance, and we can truly see why it's so special.
Yeah, this place welcomes you right away. And look at the castle walls, there's actually people up there. So we're crossing the bridge at the moment, heading into the town. And what's fascinated me the most is the fact that these castle walls behind us, like surrounding all the way, they're actually massive. And then the town is just built underneath. It's like in a little hole.
Oh my god, every corner I'm just saying wow, wow, so happy that we're here.
This is actually one of the positives of not doing too much research. We had an idea obviously of where we're coming and what we're going to do, but it makes it that much sweeter when you step in and just blown away by what you see. It feels like there's views around every corner. We've now made it to this little square, and this is one of our favourite things about the Czech Republic, is that they have these open big squares with all these benches, and on a sunny day like today it's just amazing. And as well as that, we've also seen some really good restaurants. The food that we had in last week's video was so good, so we're definitely not going to leave here without having something to eat as well. So obviously coming this time of the year has its benefits because the streets are not so packed. Don't get me wrong, this is the busiest place I think we've been so far. There are a lot of tourists here and a lot of tour guides and stuff like that, so it's really active in March, but obviously nothing in the numbers they would have in summer. So if you can kind of put up with having some things closed, like the campsites, the castle indoor section is closed as well in winter, but I think we should be able to head up to the castle walls at least. So if you can put up with these few things not being available, so much better to come this time of the year. So now we've just crossed from the old town onto this other bridge here. Man, look at this view, this is incredible. As I mentioned, the river goes all the way around Cesky Krumlov.
So we found this restaurant and there's a really interesting story.
It's called Restaurant Vake. Who's a famous Czech soldier that cleverly survives the chaos of war through absurd humour and passive resistance. His story became a local symbol of quietly outsmarting authority by acting foolish on the surface but exposing how ridiculous the system really is. And nowadays he's even become the face of this popular local restaurant chain. Anyway, let's head inside and see what they've got to eat. This is a cream soup local here in South Bohemia. Very, very creamy. Thank you very much. We've got for the same plate. What have we got here?
Alright, so here we have local duck, red cabbage and the famous bread dumplings.
After that lovely meal, we head downstairs to meet a local tour guide who's going to show us around the town and teach us a thing or two about Cesky Krumlov.
The first impression that people usually get when they come here is just wow. They can hardly believe that a place like this would really exist because it's so well preserved and it does have an energy. It really has a very special energy. The Czechs call it the genius loci, or the sort of the localized genius, which is just sort of a inescapable energy. It really creates a really strong impression. So
yeah, we can feel it, we can feel it. Should we have a walk around town?
Let's do it. Have you been up next to that big yellow building?
No.
Okay, let's walk up there.
So we're just walking through this narrow alleyway and we're going to go and check out a different area of the town that we did not see earlier on today. And Bryce was just explaining his story, how interesting it is. He came from America, right? From Florida?
Right. I was just backpacking around Europe in 1990. It was the first summer after the changes and after the Iron Curtain came down and the Berlin Wall and everything, so I was curious. So I just set out towards Europe, and I had with me a URL pass, a youth hostel membership, and $1,000 cash and a guitar. And after 6 weeks, my money was gone. My train pass had expired. I was like tired of sleeping in hostels, but I didn't want to go back to the state. I still had the guitar, so I just started playing on the street. And in Central Europe, Eastern Europe at the time, I was playing, kind of out of necessity. I was playing Simon and Garfunkel and Cat Stevens and all these like American hits on the street. And I think for a lot of Czechs, that was the very first time they had seen someone playing this music, which had been sort of inaccessible or forbidden for, decades before. So that was kind of a phenomenon. I fell in love with Prague.
The timing was important as well for you.
It was lucky. I was in the right place at the right time with the right songs. Been here ever since, and so now I'm one of the old guard.
You used to live here.
I used to live here, yeah. That was when these vines were just little tiny sprouts at the bottom of the rain spout there. In 1963, the Czechoslovakian state wanted to tear down half of the buildings on the town square.
So Bryce has just taken us now to this really nice viewpoint, and this is something that we definitely missed this morning.
Had lunch here, and we walked across the bridge, and we walked up, and now we are just about here at this little viewpoint looking out over the entire castle.
So we've gone up here behind the rooftops. Okay, you can't actually see the river, but it's quite a nice view, as you can see, with all the houses here as well.
And very important to say as well that only a few cars are in the town. Very few. You can count them on your
Exactly. Local
hand.
people can bring their cars into town, but parking your car in front of your house and leaving it here overnight is a completely different story. You're allowed to bring it in, but you're not allowed to park it unless you have a designated parking spot, which is expensive and not really encouraging.
I guess this adds to the calmness of the place. That's why we feel such a calm vibe here. It's so interesting to pass through all these places where we've been this morning and some new ones, but this time with Bryce with us, we're getting to learn a lot more information about the history of Cesky Krumlov and also some other facts that without really meeting him we would have never known.
This is actually the first mayor.
Hi Chris, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Your name?
Jan.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
Charlie, nice to meet you.
Most of the reasons that it's still such a good place to live in is because of the work that he did in the early stages.
Yes, we are.
That's a good idea.
Our home is the road,
So we're actually heading up to the castle tower now.
There's bears here? There we go, check it out. He's losing his spring coat.
What? That was unexpected.
There's another one lazing over there also. Bears have been in the castle since the 16th century because the Rosenbergs, who lived here from 1302 to 1602, fancied themselves to be related to the Orsini family from ancient Italy and Venice. And so Orsini, Ursa, bear, they put the bear here to represent this relationship, but they kept the bears here anyway, just out of tradition.
That's crazy. I was so impressed, and you're so casual about it. Bryce said, have you seen the bear over there? And we thought it was a joke. We thought it was going to be a statue.
Oh, there's a pigeon, there's a statue, and there's a bear.
And we're like, it's a real bear. There's two of them. It's actually Charlene's first time seeing a bear.
It is actually.
Well, the last bears that were here, they actually died of old age about 10 years ago, and they were kind of wondering if should they continue with the tradition of bear keeping and such because it's politically different than it used to be. But then just about that time, some crazy wacko Russian thought he would try to smuggle 2 baby bears from somewhere in Russia to somewhere in Germany, and he was caught at the Prague airport. So he was arrested. The bears were taken into custody. And all of a sudden the bears became state property, and for a long time they were wondering what to do with them. This was during COVID, so they were actually in quarantine for a while. And then they decided to actually put them here because this was the only place in the Czech Republic which would offer sort of a dignified sanctuary for the bears, which had obviously been born and bred in captivity. Trap his friend.
This place is full of surprises. Never in a million years did I expect to see bears here.
Really didn't expect that. I really didn't.
This is the castle complex. It's run and managed by the state, and the castle director, who has been here since I believe 1986, is responsible for the entire castle grounds. And he has, over the past 30, 35, 40 years, has completely reconstructed the entire castle from inside and out. And one of the nice things about the castle is that the castle corridor that goes all the way from the top to the bottom of the castle and back, it's open 24/7. So you can come here at 3 o'clock in the morning and just enjoy the castle completely by yourself. Of course, it used to be a German town, and the family who lived in the castle was the Schwarzenbergs. They were Germans, they were Czech patriots, but originally they were from Bavaria, and before them it was the Eggenbergs, who were also from Austria. And so the entire town and castle used to be dominated by the German language, and you don't see too much of it anymore. There's a few remnants. For example, you can see the sign up there, which originally said Eingang zum Tor, which was the entrance to the castle tower.
It's a long way up, but I'm sure it's going to be worth it when we get to the top. Come on. Look at this massive bell. You want to go ring it?
We're almost there. Yeah. This is hard. Wow, gorgeous views. It's so colorful from up here.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Wow. Cesky Krumlov from above. Wow. We made it up to the top. Already absolutely worth it. 360-degree views in every direction. So this is the castle courtyard where we entered from.
This is not just a nice view. It's deeply atmospheric, and it's so wonderful to be up here and witness all of this. From up here we can see the red orange roofs. We can also see this horseshoe bend because the Vlata river is surrounding the whole town. We are roughly 86 meters above the river. It's totally worth it climbing up those stairs. It was like 162 steps, and this is the reward. This tower gives you a sense how massive the castle is compared to the town.
And now that we're up here, we can truly see how surrounded Cesky Krumlov is with these hills on, well, all the way around really. So as you can see over there in the distance, there are some older like Soviet style buildings. Behind them there are more hills, and then behind them there are even more hills. And then the town is just like hidden in this little ditch surrounded by the castle. Okay, now all the way down again.
This place is normally really crowded. Right now it's just empty, which is nice. The best time to come to Cesky Krumlov is before 10 o'clock in the morning or after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because there's this big throng of tourists that comes in the midday hump.
So as soon as we entered Cesky Krumlov, we were standing down the bottom here by the river, and I could see people up here, and I said later on today we definitely need to visit. And now we are here. We're actually in this huge castle wall overlooking the river. This is where we started from today, look down here. And this place is incredible.
It doesn't look like much from the outside, but behind that wall and behind that door is the Castle Theatre, one of the oldest and definitely the best preserved castle theatre of its type anywhere in the world. And from here, you can really see the best view of the entire old town and the castle together.
The viewpoints just keep getting better and better.
I don't want to leave from here.
And again, Cesky Krumlov is one of the best preserved Renaissance towns in the world, and sort of a local spirit that you won't find anywhere else.
So today we've explored the town of Cesky Krumlov. We've ate some amazing local food. We've been to the castle tower, we've walked through the back streets, been to all the viewpoints, and that just leaves one more thing to do.
Beer!
So this is why we came here, guys. We're going to try the local Krumlov beer. There seems to be some different ones, and obviously this is local from Cesky Krumlov.
Hello.
Hello.
So we just ordered 3 beers, 11 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah? Do you like any of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you say cheers in
Na zdraví. To health. Or Na zdraví, or as the Americans from Prague say, nice driveway.
nice
Nice
driveway?
driveway.
It's good, it's good, love it.
Yum. So now finally I've got my last guitar, which was actually custom made for me.
Right guys, we are back at the van. Really amazing day. Thoroughly enjoyed Cesky Krumlov. The town is beautiful, the food was amazing, the bears and the beer.
That was a big surprise. I had no idea that today I was going to see bears for the very first time. Our tour guide was amazing. He explained everything in detail, and it was really cool for us to have this guy with us today.
Yeah, really
and
cool
explain
experience.
everything.
This is so far our favourite place that we've ever been in the Czech Republic, that's for sure. We're impressed from the beginning to the end. So links will be in the description box below. Cesky Krumlov if you want to come here and find out some information. And also for Bryce as well, because he was an amazing tour guide. And we'll see you guys next week as we continue to explore more places here in the Czech Republic. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.